let's move to the middleweight division. Darren Till's dropped 4 of his last 5 fights, so this is a big turning point for him being on this card. He finds himself as a plus 160 underdog against the fighter in Dricus Du Plessis, who he's a different trajectory. He's won 3 straight fights. So I want to start with this. Dricus Du Plessis, I have been saying the name all morning long. As a broadcaster, is there a name that is more palatable to you than his?
Oh, gosh, man. I mean, our roster's crazy. I remember back in the days at ESPN Radio when we would Americanize everything. And then Daisuke Matsuzaka signed with the Red Sox, and they heard him referred to as Daisuke on ESPN Radio, and they freaked out. Practice makes perfect, man, but even some of these names for me, like Dricus Du Plessis is the surname for the South African, and he's a violent problem. I understand why he's the favorite, just given the current form for Darren Till and some of the spouts of inactivity. But I can understand why a lot of the sharp minds out there see value on Darren Till at plus 160. Championship experience, down a division, a whole wealth of striking skills. Obviously, wrestling has been his kryptonite, but he's been training in Sweden with Khamzat Chimaev, so you got to think he's going to be a little bit better there. And Du Plessis figures to probably want to stand and trade. Fascinating matchup. I'm glad it held together. I'll feel really good once we get through the weigh-in, but it's a great fight. And yeah, I mean, maybe we'll be looking 12 months down the line and say, man, you can't get Du Plessis in that minus 160 range anymore. But right now, I'm surprised to see a number that bloated next to the name of Darren Till.
That's interesting because that's exactly what I was thinking. When you see the trajectory of the two fighters, you're naturally inclined to go with the fighter who's moving in the right direction. Sometimes that's where you can capitalize in handicapping, taking advantage of the market before everyone realizes that the guy might be past his prime. But Till brings name recognition. He's in that new camp like you talked about. Some guys, maybe you lose 4 or 5 and then you turn it around and catch a second wind in your career. Some guys don't. So You can see the value in why people would like Till here, I take it.
And now generally, well, I will say yes, but Du Plessis, and again, I'm a guy who's very thankful I'm contractually prevented from betting on MMA because I'm almost too close to it, that I can make a case for both sides, even when there's inside information. Du Plessis is so tough and has so much heart that I know it may sound like a cop-out, but there's no way that I'm going to the window trying to bet this fight. There's a lot of fights that scream layoff to me, and yeah, I was a little bit wrong on the betting line, and I've seen it continuously bet up, right? Certainly, if Darren Till gets to plus 175, maybe I can understand why people would have an appetite for it. But generally speaking, I don't fade cardio guys, and guys like Du Plessis that you literally need to separate from consciousness to get out of there, just not in any great rush to fade them.